Hello, welcome back to my #LP Storytime May series, where I'm spending all of the month of May telling you my most embarrassing stories in the hope that it makes you like me and you validate my existence. Ha 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 ha, that's a joke, is it? Hi, I'm Louise, Pentland. I have this channel. I also make behind the scenes and lifestyle videos over on my second channel, Sprinkle of Chatter, and also I have written a book, a whole book, there it is. It's not really the book, that's another book with the face of my book wrapped around it, but I have written a whole book called Wild Like Me, which is available to pre-order now, and it comes out in June, so I would love for you to get that today. And now, on to the story time. Today's story is date-based, as you will see from the last few videos that I've put up, Mondays and Wednesdays, 8 PM. I don't have a lot of luck with dates. Not a lot of luck at all. I don't know if I'm picking the wrong people or I just am very unlucky. I'm in a lovely relationship now, and this guy is much better than any of these people. But I met a guy on a dating app called Katie. Katie's my friend, a real human, not an imaginary person. Hello, pick a boy's name.
Rick.
Called Rick. I'm obviously not using people's real names. And Rick, via message, sounded alright. Sounded like a decent guy, and he asked me out on a date, and I was like, yeah, okay, I'll go on a date with you, Rick. And I drove to the date. My thing with first dates is I would always drive and then just have one alcoholic drink and then just have non-alcoholic drinks for the rest of the night, so I was like way under the limit, but I always think it's safer to drive because then you can drive home at any point you want to. So first things first, I'm the realist. I drove and I had only had my car a few months and I could not park it for love nor money, and I scratched the side. So I was already a bit like, oh God! I wasn't in the best of moods, and I got to the date and we were sat by this fireplace in this like old country pub, and it was fine. Like, we tried to make conversation. Like, it wasn't going badly, but there was just, you know, like, and there's no chemistry, and you were just like, you seem like a nice man, but you're probably not the man for me. But okay, never mind, we'll carry on chatting. So I knew that the date, like, wasn't going to be a resounding success when he was scraping the barrel with conversational topics like, do you have any pets? And I was like, yes, I do actually. And he's like, oh God, you're not a crazy cat lady, are you? And I was like, yes, I am. I have 2 cats and they are my world. I love my cats. And he was like, well, I've got 2 bearded dragons, which are like a type of lizard. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. Instantly I was like, ugh. That just means you've got like dead mice around your house for them to eat and stuff like that. And I was a bit like, oh, no offence to anyone that's got a lizard, but you can't love a lizard, you can't cuddle a lizard, you can't like rub your little hands around their little ears, can you? Like you can with a cat. Cats are amazing. This video should be cats are the best. And he was like, funny story actually about the lizards. And I was like, oh yeah, like we could do with a funny story on this date, which is like dry as the driest thing on earth. What's the driest thing on earth?
Your armpits.
My armpits.
Apparently.
Yeah. You'll get that if you watched a previous video. I don't sweat basically, I just am not a sweaty person. This is a tangent. Like, my armpits now are like dry, they're like the Sahara bloody desert. Anyways, he promises to tell me a funny story, and he was like, well, we thought that the lizards were 2 males. I was like, yeah, and then what? And he's like, well, the lizards were a male and a female. Funny story. What happened was the male and the female made sweet lizard love and had lizard babies, and he came downstairs one morning and there were 20 lizard eggs, and I was like, oh my God, what did you do? Do you now have 22 bearded dragon lizards? He's like, no, I killed them. Just like, no, I killed them. And I was like,
What?
yeah. So he went, no, I killed them. And I was like, what do you mean? And he was like, just put them in the bin. And I was like, you put them in the bin? Like, at this point, by the way, I'm absolutely horrified. There's a million things you could have done with those eggs. You could have given them to a pet shop or some sort of animal charity or surely some sort of reptile sanctuary. Like, don't just, like, there's other things, not like, well, wasn't expecting this, pour these in the bin. Also, that poor mother, like, she just popped all her eggs out and then they're in the bloody bin. Anyway, so I was like, what do you mean you put them in the bin? Weren't you worried they were all going to hatch and you were going to have 20 tiny lizards in your dustbin? And then he said, just clear as, just normal as you like. Just went, no, I froze them first. So he froze the eggs to like freeze to death the embryos, I guess. I don't quite know the science of this. And then put them in the bin. I mean, if they defrost, are they going to make, I don't know. But I was like, oh, gosh, wow. And I didn't want to like spook him because I thought, you're not a man that I feel comfortable with now. Like, if you're capable of, like, mass lizard murder. I was like, oh, wow. Then he said, oh, the next time it happened, though, I did feel a bit guilty. This happened twice. 40 eggs. 40 eggs. 40 eggs frozen and put in the bin with this man called Rick. And I was like, I want to leave right now. So I made an excuse and got in my scratched up car and drove home. And the whole way home I was like, I've just been on a date with a lizard killer. Now you might say it's not killing them because they weren't born yet, but I mean, whatever. You killed a load of lizards. That's really weird. Why would you say that on a first date?
The thing is about this, like, that's quite a long process.
Yeah, that's a commitment,
Like,
isn't it? Like, how long are you going to leave them in the fridge? Like, oh, we've left them in for a day now, best go and get them all out. Like, you had time to think. It's not like all of it, he just killed them all and then was like, shit, shouldn't have done that. Like, he's thought about that. He's thought about that. The man's crazy. That's weird, isn't it?
Did you think that was going to, make him sexy to you?
Yeah, that's another thing. I hadn't thought about that. Did you think I was going to be like, wow,
Man.
oh, do you want to go home now or should we wait for a few more days? Like, no. In that situation, if your lizard had eggs and you didn't want them, what would you do with them? I actually went home and researched about bearded dragons to see if the mothers get emotionally attached, and apparently they don't. So I was comforted by that at least. But
the worrying thing is, this is going to happen again.
Yeah, because he still has a boy and a girl lizard.
Maybe you should call that RSPCA.
I don't have his number. I blocked him. No contact with me, thank you very much, sir. If you're watching this, lizard man, don't do that. Like, so that was just a quickie video of the time I went out with a reptile murderer. Needless to say, we did not have a second date. We never he contacted me and I ignored him and then blocked him. I'm not going to let a man that's killed 40 lizards near my cats.
No, can you imagine?
My precious cats. I'll be back again on Wednesday with another story. It will be on, just looking, a story about a boyfriend actually. So not a date. We were already dating by this point. We quickly broke up after it, but whatever. I'm the same boyfriend that I had the morning after pill situation with, so I bet he's glad I'm making all these videos. Don't forget to pre-order my book. There are many brilliant tales in there, so if you're enjoying these storytime videos, you'll definitely enjoy it. Ta-da, there it is. It's called Wild Like Me, and it is linked below for you to pre-order now. I would really appreciate it. I will see you on Wednesday at 8 p.m. Thanks for watching. Bye!